From Andromeda bridging to speed telly bridging, Minecraft has had an insane history of really fast bridging methods. Because of just how advanced these methods have gotten over the past year or so, it's been said that players have reached a maximum speed that you can get with bridging. As it turns out, however, they were lying. And this is where death bridging comes in. You see, death bridging is an insanely unique mechanic that I'll be explaining in this video, and let's just say things are about to get crazy. Until today, Andromeda bridging was regarded as the fastest bridging in all of Minecraft, with a maximum speed of around 8 blocks per second with the new strategy that Dougal invented a couple months back. However, due to Andromeda bridging not being physically possible for a Minecraft player to perform, especially at this level of speed, players turned to a method called speed telly bridging. At a pace of over 7 blocks per second, this method is almost exactly as fast as Andromeda bridging, except it's actually possible to perform. The world record for the fastest bridge on the biggest Minecraft bridging server, MCPlayHD, is an astounding 3.9 seconds on their short mode. And this is where I'd like to introduce you to death bridging. Death bridging takes advantage of something called pre-render errors that causes a block to delay from being placed by one singular tick in Minecraft, and therefore the player's hitbox already falls within the block itself. This causes when the block is placed for the game to register as suffocation damage to the player, and this tick of damage can be used to boost the player to varying distances based on the previously gathered momentum in the bridge. This strategy is nearly equivalent to the bow boosting mechanic that is popular in PvP, as it uses damage to move the player in an unnatural manner that can be taken advantage of. For bridging specifically, this allows the player to turn for their final jump much earlier on, as this distance can be cleared far more efficiently with the new strategy. It's important to understand that death bridging is impossible on multiplayer servers, as you must not have any ping delay between you and the block placement whatsoever, as this will result in the mechanic not working. So in order to perform this, you must firstly be on a single player map, because this allows for those render errors to occur, and secondly, your render distance must be turned up all the way in order for the game to focus on rendering far away blocks, instead of the ones that you are placing in front of you. Now the third and final step is the most complicated, as this is what forces your player's hitbox into the block. In order to do this, you have to hit your sneak key the exact tick before your player lands and release it on the tick that you do land. This will trick the game to lower your hitbox once you unshift and put you inside of the block. All of these steps together will cause your player to take one singular hit of damage, and this hit is often delayed because of things like the high render distance lagging your computer, as well as a few other factors such as things running on your computer in the background. I do have to admit that I find it very unfortunate that this method is not possible on multiplayer servers, as this means that we cannot actually break the world record using this strategy. My theory is if it even did work on servers, you'd probably end up getting banned by the anti-cheat, because my guess is the servers aren't designed to notice you taking a hit of damage, and the server would probably register this as your character flying. The thing I find most interesting about this mechanic is that it's really not a complicated task to perform. All it really is lagging out your computer to a high extent, and then tapping your shift at the exact perfect time. It's really interesting to see that as far as bridging has come, new mechanics are still being discovered every couple of months. And if you don't believe me, this happened a couple months back with the one stack mode, where out of nowhere players decided to switch to strategy at the very end to decide to go up the slab instead of the middle, and this caused them to save an extreme amount of time, similar to the death bridge mechanic. The greatest part about death bridging is that it can be applied to literally any bridging method where you jump. It's not something that's limited to a speed telly specifically or anything of that sort. The reason that speed tellies and regular telly bridges are far more efficient to use death bridging with, simply because those are bridging methods that require your player to turn back to face the island before you finish your bridge, and that allows you to take a bigger advantage of the death bridging mechanic, though to be fair, you could definitely use it with a GAW bridge or a speed bridge or something like that if you turn to clutch before you reach the end island. In Dougal's clip, he uses a strategy that's normally a maximum speed of 3.9 seconds, and brings it all the way down to 3.55, which is shaving off 0.35 seconds. To put this into a greater perspective, we can see on MCPlayHD's short mode that if this method was used to clutch on a GAW bridge, the time would be sub 6, a full telly bridge would be sub 5, and a full speed telly would be sub 4 if you did a 4-block start. Now that's not to say this bridging method is perfect, as it's definitely far from it. When a mechanic causes you to take damage, there's always going to be a lot of flaws with it, and for death bridging specifically, one of the biggest one is that it can cause you to die by making you take damage and knocking you straight into the void. On top of it, a much more obvious issue is because you're actually taking damage, this could allow you to actually die if you do it too many times in a row and take damage without regenning yourself. One of the interesting things about death bridging is that this mechanic is actually not bridging exclusive, and say for example you were in a bedwars game and you jumped and did this mechanic on a block and took damage right in front of your opponent, it might throw off their aim and actually make it easier for you to win the fight. Of course, the sad reality of this is that we'll never actually know because we can't do it on multiplayer. The craziest thing about all of this is such a simple tactic that's actually able to save so much time on your bridge was never discovered until now. I can't wait to see the amount of people trying this out on all kinds of different servers, and if you actually do get some clips with this, you should definitely tag me in the clips. Also feel free to share them in my Discord server or DM me the clips, because I would genuinely love to see some people pulling this off as well. Death bridging is by far one of the craziest things to ever happen to the bridging community as a whole, and if servers are able to develop a plugin to allow players to do this on multiplayer, it is going to change the game permanently. This has genuinely been by far one of the craziest things I've ever gotten to talk about on this channel, and if you guys did end up enjoying the video, please do consider subscribing because it helps out so much, and we're getting insanely close to 30,000 subscribers, which is honestly just insane. With that being said though, I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.